So, we had an amazing weekend at Fantasy Forest Festival with Dax and Bella and Toki. And Millie and Zeus stayed home with their dad. And Millie went for her progesterone test on Saturday. And unfortunately, her progesterone level has dropped, which means she's coming back out of season having not ovulated, which is really disappointing, but was always a risk. We knew, because this was technically an artificial season, as it were, that there was always the possibility that this would happen. But when you've spent this long and this much time and effort into something like this, you always want to hope beyond hope. But it is what it is. There's not a lot we can do about it. The only thing we can hope now is, now that we know the theory was definitely correct, and the fact that she did come into season when that hormone was switched off, is that she will now hopefully come into season on her own, whether it be within the next 12 months or so, or whether we may have to wait until Bella has her final litter and isn't obviously having her puppies anymore, and therefore there's no artificial way of Millie's hormone level getting triggered to be higher and stopping her coming into season, because she's looking after Bella's puppies, which does mean she would be a bit older than we'd like for a first litter. She'd be 5 by then, but it's not the end of the world. Toki was 4, well, she was gone 4 when she had her first litter. She was 4.5, so it's not super bad, because they're such a slow developing breed, and because they are generally very healthy and robust anyway. It shouldn't really cause her too much detriment at all. Obviously, we'll be monitoring things closely to make sure that there is as little risk as possible. There's obviously always a risk with breeding and pregnancy and things like that, but yeah, as little as possible. We're not going to put her at any undue risk. But yeah, so that's where we're sat at now. So not what we wanted, but yeah, that's just the way it is. So yeah, hopefully the next one of these is Millie's come back into season on her own, yay! But when that'll be, and if it happens at all, we don't really know. Cece, slow down! Thank you, good boy. Yeah, so we just don't know. It'll happen when it happens, I guess. But at least we now have an answer. We know there's nothing physically wrong with her stopping her coming into season, which was obviously a big concern. It is just a hormonal thing, because of being around Bella's puppies so much. So yeah, such is life. It's a bit sad, but there's not a lot we can do about it, and Mother Nature will do what Mother Nature wants to do. And if all else fails, and she never comes back into season, obviously she's never going to go anywhere. She's still a little baby girl. All we'll have to end up doing is, hopefully, if Dax passes all of her health tests fine when she's big enough, in 2 or 3 years, then we'll end up putting her to Nando's son instead. So we'll still get the genetic pairing that we were looking for in the first place. It'll just be another generation down, which is, yeah, that is what it is. But there we go. Well, we're going to go and finish our walk before it gets too hot, and hope everybody enjoys the sunshine. Hey babies. What are you doing, Noodle? Hey, Daxy Doodles? What are you doing, Daxy Doodles? Yeah.